Oh, well, anyway there's nothing awful in it for a girl. Every girl's proud of an offer. Yes, every girl, but not she. Stepan Arkadyevitch smiled. He so well knew that feeling of Levin's, that for him all the girls in the world were divided into two classes, one class all the girls in the world except her, and those girls with all sorts of human weaknesses, and very ordinary girls, the other class she alone, having no weaknesses of any sort and higher than all humanity. Stay, take some sauce, he said, holding back Levin's hand as it pushed away the sauce. Levin obediently helped himself to sauce, but would not let Stepan Arkadyevitch go on with his dinner. No, stop a minute, he said. You must understand that it's a question of life and death for me. I have never spoken to anyone of this. And there's no one I could speak of it to, except you. You know we're utterly unlike each other, different tastes and views and everything, but I know you're fond of me and understand me, and that's why I like you awfully. But for God's sake, be quite straightforward with me. I tell you what I think, said Stepan Arkadyevitch, smiling. But I'll say more. My wife is a wonderful woman. Stepan Arkadyevitch sighed, remembering his position with his wife, and, after a moment's silence, resumed. She has a gift of foreseeing things. She sees right through people, but that's not all. She knows what will come to pass, especially in the way of marriages. She foretold, for instance, that Princess Shahovskaya would marry Brentelin. No one would believe it, but it came to pass. And she's on your side. How do you mean? It's not only that she likes you, she says that Kitty is certain to be your wife. At these words Levin's face suddenly lighted up with a smile not far from tears of emotion. She says that? Cried Levin. I always said she was exquisite, your wife. There, that's enough said about it, he said, getting up from his seat. All right, but do sit down. But Levin could not sit down. He walked with his firm tread twice up and down the little cage of a room, blinked his eyelids that his tears might not fall, and only then sat down to the table. You must understand, said he, it's not love. I've been in love, but it's not that. It's not my feeling, but a sort of force outside me has taken possession of me. I went away, you see, because I made up my mind that it could never be, you understand, as a happiness that does not come on earth. But I've struggled with myself, I see there's no living without it. And it must be settled. What did you go away for? Ah, stop a minute. Ah, the thoughts that come crowding on one. The questions one must ask oneself. Listen. You can't imagine what you've done for me by what you said. I'm so happy that I've become positively hateful, I've forgotten everything. I heard today that my brother Nikolai, you know, he's here. I had even forgotten him. It seems to me that he's happy too. It's a sort of madness. But one thing's awful. Here, you've been married, you know the feeling. It's awful that we old with a past not of love, but of sincere brought all at once so near to a creature pure and innocent, it's loathsome, and that's why one can't help feeling oneself unworthy. Oh, well, you've not many sins on your conscience. Alas! All the same, said Levin, when with loathing I go over my life, I shudder and curse and bitterly regret it. Yes. What would you have? The world's made so, said Stepan Arkadyevitch. The one comfort is like that prayer, which I always liked, forgive me not according to my unworthiness, but according to thy loving kindness. That's the only way she can forgive me. Chapter 11. Levin emptied his glass, and they were silent for a while. There's one other thing I ought to tell you. Do you know Vronsky? Stepan Arkadyevitch asked Levin. No, I don't. Why do you ask? Give us another bottle, Stepan Arkadyevitch directed the Tatar, who was filling up their glasses and fidgeting round them just when he was not wanted. Why you ought to know Vronsky is that he's one of your rivals. Who's Vronsky? Said Levin, and his face was suddenly transformed from the look of childlike ecstasy which Oblonsky had just been admiring to an angry and unpleasant expression. Vronsky is one of the sons of Count Kirill Ivanovich Vronsky, and one of the finest specimens of the gilded youth of Petersburg. I made his acquaintance in Pierre when I was there on official business, and he came there for the levy of recruits. Fearfully rich, handsome, great connections, an aide-de-camp, and with all that a very nice, good-natured fellow. But he's more than simply a good-natured fellow, as I've found out here he's a cultivated man, too, and very intelligent. He's a man who'll make his mark.